If you look at the traditional blueprint for a Hollywood leading man, Dwayne Johnson is a mathematical error. In the early 2000s, studios had absolutely no idea what to do with him. He was physically too massive to play an average guy. He was too ethnically ambiguous for traditional casting archetypes.
What in the blue hell is wrong with you? The Rock was just informed that he had a match at Unforgiven. Handicap match between The Rock.
And let's be honest, he wasn't exactly winning Oscars for his dramatic range. By all industry logic, his career should have started and ended as a novelty act. So how did he become the biggest movie star on the planet? To understand the anomaly, you first have to understand the trap. In Hollywood, there are rules unspoken but absolute. Leading men are a certain size, a certain race, a certain type. You're either the clean-cut action hero, the brooding dramatic actor, or the quirky everyman. Where does a 6'5", 260-pound, half Samoan, half black former wrestler fit? Nowhere. And that's the problem. So let's rewind. Before Hollywood ever touched him, Dwayne Johnson was already a star, main eventing WrestleMania, selling out arenas. The Rock was a household name. He left because he thought movies were the next level. But here's what wrestling taught him that most actors never learn. Presence beats perfection, charisma beats subtlety, repetition builds mythology. He wasn't disappearing into roles like Daniel Day-Lewis. He was amplifying himself, and that should have been the key to everything. Except Hollywood didn't want that. His first big role came in 2002, The Scorpion King, a sword and sandal action movie. It made $165 million worldwide. For most actors, that's the beginning of a legendary career. Studios lock you into sequels, build franchises around you. That's not what happened because Hollywood looked at Dwayne Johnson and saw a problem they couldn't solve. He was too big. Literally. You can't cast him as the guy next door. He makes everyone else look like children. He was too ethnically ambiguous. Studios didn't know how to market him. He wasn't the white action hero. He wasn't the ethnic sidekick. He existed in between, and Hollywood doesn't love in between. So they started throwing roles at him, hoping something would stick. Hollywood threw him into a blender to see what would sell. He was a video game marine in Doom that bombed. He was a gay bodyguard in Be Cool. By 2007, he was literally wearing a tutu in Disney's The Game Plan.
Ready for your big debut?
Yeah. There you go, Pete.
No, Joe. Joe, this is for you.
No. Now, in case you forgot, I am a freakishly large man, and these are freakishly small tights.
Hurry up, offense. No, honey.
They were stripping away the very things that made him a star in the first place. One casting director from that era said it plainly: you walk into a room and you're the only thing people see. That works in wrestling, it doesn't work here. This was the trap. Hollywood wanted him to shrink, to blend in, to prove he could disappear into a role. So for years, that's what he tried to do. He took smaller parts, played it safe, tried to prove he could act, and it wasn't working. By 2010, the whispers were loud. Maybe he's not a movie star. Maybe he's just a wrestler who got lucky once. But then something happened that changed everything. In 2011, Dwayne got cast in Fast 5.
Sorry to hear about the loss of your man. Is all of this really necessary to apprehend Two Men?
Let me tell you something about these two men. One's a former federal officer.
At this point, the Fast and Furious movies were fine. They made money, but they weren't cultural events. When Dwayne joined as Luke Hobbs, everything shifted. Not because he became a better actor, but because the directors understood something the Wachowskis understood about Keanu Reeves. They didn't try to fix him, they weaponized him. Luke Hobbs wasn't trying to be relatable, he wasn't trying to blend in. He was a force of nature, big, physical, unstoppable. For the first time in years, Dwayne didn't have to shrink. And when Fast 5 hit theaters, it exploded. Over $600 million worldwide. It didn't just revive the franchise, it took it to another level. Suddenly, Hollywood realized something. Dwayne Johnson's size wasn't a problem, it was the feature. His ethnicity wasn't a limitation, it was global appeal. His lack of range wasn't a weakness, it was consistency. After Fast 5, Dwayne made a decision. He stopped trying to transform. Most actors fight their entire careers to prove range, to show they can play anyone. Dwayne Johnson did the opposite. He simplified. Instead of trying to fit into roles, he made roles fit him. San Andreas, he's a rescue pilot, but he's also The Rock. Rampage, he's a scientist, but he's also The Rock. Jumanji, he's a video game character, but he's still The Rock. Think about that. Arnold Schwarzenegger did something similar, so did Sylvester Stallone, but even they leaned into distinct characters. Terminator, Rocky, Conan, Dwayne Johnson plays Dwayne Johnson every time. The smile, the raised eyebrow, the motivational speech, and it worked, because audiences weren't showing up for a character, they were showing up for him. But here's where Dwayne did something no other actor was doing. While other actors worried about their craft, Dwayne worried about his brand. He started posting on Instagram obsessively, workout videos, behind the scenes footage, motivational speeches. His following exploded, 200 million followers, but this this wasn't vanity. This was infrastructure. Every time Dwayne posted about a movie, his fans showed up. Studios realized they weren't hiring an actor. They were hiring a marketing machine, and Dwayne knew it. His contracts started including things other actors would never ask for. Creative control, approval over how he's filmed, limits on how he's shown losing fights. He stopped playing characters. He started protecting a brand. By the late 2000s, he was headlining billion-dollar franchises. Jumanji, Fast and Furious, Jungle Cruise. He didn't just become a movie star, he became infrastructure. But here's where critics step in. They argue he doesn't take risks, he doesn't stretch, he plays it safe, and they're not wrong. But maybe that's the point, because Dwayne Johnson stopped trying to be the best actor in the room. He started trying to be the most bankable. There's a difference. One wins awards, the other builds empires, and there's one thing Dwayne mastered that many better actors never do: trust. Audiences trust him, they know what they're getting, they know he won't disappear into something dark and unrecognizable. He's a brand of comfort, and comfort sells. So let's go back to the beginning. Why is Dwayne Johnson the actor who shouldn't exist? Because he broke every rule Hollywood had. Too big, too wrestling, too ethnically ambiguous, not prestige enough. By all logic, his career should have died in 2010, but it didn't, because he understood something most actors never learn. He wasn't Daniel Day-Lewis, he wasn't Denzel Washington, he wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio, so he stopped chasing their lane, he built his own highway, and Hollywood had no choice but to pave it. The traditional blueprint says you must transform to survive. Dwayne Johnson proved you can survive by amplifying. He didn't fix his limitations, he weaponized them. And whether you call that genius or just branding, it changed Hollywood. And that's exactly why he's the actor who shouldn't exist. But what happens when an actor takes the exact opposite path? What happens when someone is so obsessed with disappearing into a role that it almost destroys them? Click the video on screen to see how Leonardo DiCaprio broke his own mind for an Oscar. I'll see you there.